Alright, what's up everybody? It's your boy Jagger the King here today. And before we start this video, you already know I'm going to be using clips. So go support the official release of Shaman King. You can watch the entire thing on Netflix. And you can also pick up the entire manga. They also have omnibuses of it. And last I checked, they have officially put out the original 2001 series, the complete series out of the sub version, so you can pick up that version. I already seen that version. But today we're going to be talking about the 2021 version of Shaman King. And man, I am glad that this version does exist, even though I do have some huge problem with this anime. I do like it, but this is going to be one of the rare times I say the manga version is 100% superior, and even the original 2001 series is better in certain regards, especially more towards the ending and how they did certain characters' development. But let's go over the story first, then we'll go to the characters, and then I'll touch more details about my dislikes and dislikes of the series. So the story about Shaman King is about a main character named Yo, and Yo's entire goal throughout the entire anime is originally just to become the Shaman King in order for everybody to have a lazy life and just be able to do what they want to do without having to worry about all the negatives and dark things about this world. Perfectly fine, perfectly straightforward. But unfortunately, that goal doesn't get a chance to even get an opportunity to happen because now they have to hit Yo and eventually along the lines of his many friends that he meets along the way, they need to defeat this person named Hal, who is the person who is the top candidate to become the next Shaman King is because he's the most powerful shaman in the entire world. They're trying to defeat him because he wants to destroy the world and create it in his own image so that a lot of negative things don't happen because something terrible happened to him a long time in the past that affects all versions of Hal from many different times all the way up to the current version of him that currently exists. And of course, we know about shamans. Reincarnation does exist in this anime, so it makes perfect sense. And basically, that's where the rest of the story is. To the point, our end of the story takes place at the shaman fight, and it ends all the way there. And that's pretty much it in terms of the story. In terms of the characters, this is where I do like the anime a lot. But I feel like in some regards, there are some things that are better in the 2001 series, especially with the character, because they had a lot of they had fillers in there, so we had a lot more time to get to know each individual characters. While in the 2001 version, it's the straight manga, but even in the manga, there's more stuff that they had to cut out of the anime because of time, and of course, they only had a certain amount of episodes, like 50 something episode, and this is supposed to be an over 300 something anime. 100 episode would have probably been a better choice, or at least a high like 70, 80-ish episodes probably would have been more than enough to get everything in there, even the little small stuff that could have helped out better. But our first character we're going to talk about is obviously the main character himself, Asakura Yo. Yo is one of my personal favorite main character, and I am glad that this series is showing that a lot of people that Yo is such a great character. He is such a simple character. His big thing is that he's a lazy person. He loves his quiet moment. He just likes chilling. But because of how it's and all these other characters, and of course the shaman fights, he constantly has to fight for his goal is to get a true world with just peace, with nobody's hurt, nobody's struggling, everybody's just doing what they set their mind to. Like my goal is to one day own my own film studio. So of course in Yo's world, I would actually have that goal. And I like that throughout the series, he's constantly sticks by this goal. He does get stronger along with his spirits. I like Abidabaru. They become a very great team. And Yo acts like a leader towards all of his friends. And I love his relationship with each and every member of Team Asakura. And he's just such a great character. And it's just so sad that not a lot of people who wouldn't watch the anime would never know how good he is. Like, he's easily in my top 10 favorite protagonists in anime, not just shonen anime. But we gotta talk about his. And I like that he has his whole thing with Yo. He wants Yo to get stronger because he has a reasoning for Yo later on down the line in terms of the anime. But they do continue to still do a good job on him, even with the fact that they have to rush a lot of stuff. He's still such a great villain. I'm not a fan of how he went out at the end of the anime. I didn't like it in the original manga, and I don't like it here because it's the same ending. They didn't even bother even try to fix it up a little bit. It's just not a great ending for him for such an amazing villain. Also, his spirit, the spirit of fire, easily one of the best spirits in Shaman King. Just so badass. You're gonna see a clip of it. It's just so awesome how cool it is. There are many other characters I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna try to fit in all the characters from Team Asakura, so Team Yo, and the next character we're gonna talk about is Horo Horo. Horo Horo is the comedy relief character. He's the funny guy. He has his ice power. He has his spirit that has to do with his race and his tribe. And I like that throughout this version of the anime, we get to learn the truth about him, in which I do like this version of Horror than I did in the original one, is because we actually get his full backstory and we learn his whole big thing in terms of who he truly is as a character. Because in the original, he's just a funny and goofy character, but he knows how to get serious when it's time. But when they actually reveal what his true nature is, I really love that because I'm like, that's horror. That's the horror I know. Because horror can be a true savage. It's just they try to give me so much comedy relief moment. The next person we're going to talk about is Ryu. Ryu is surprisingly the first character that Yo actually fights early on in the series before he fights like many other characters. And throughout the entire anime, Ryu stays like kind of like a semi-rival to Yo, but then over time he later becomes a much better character. Like he begins to join the group, and he's more like a big brother figure to everybody. He's always looking out for everybody, making sure everybody's good. And I like that his goal is to have the best of Podesta, where he just wants a place where him and his team can just chill and have fun, just have a good time. That's what he wants in his life, and I really do enjoy his character. He's such a funny character, but they do a great job with him in both versions of the anime, especially in the 2001 because they had a little bit more stuff with him. I feel like in this version they could have did more with him, but that's all I gotta say about him. Next, Tao Ren is easily one of my favorite rivals in anime. I like that throughout the entire anime, especially in this version and the manga version, he constantly stays a rival to Yo. He's always had Yo in the back of his mind since the first moment they fought, and they fought multiple times in here. They fought the first time they met, they fought during the first round in the Shaman King fight, and then they eventually fight again later on down the line during the Shaman King fight. And they have such a great banter. I love his relationship with everybody. He has probably one of the best arcs in the anime, being when he fought against his own family. That's like easily one of my favorite arcs of the entire anime. And I just love that he's a very cocky character. He kind of does remind me of Vegeta, but just like Vegeta, he goes down a better path because of Yo, because of everybody else. And his goal is to also become Shaman King. His reasoning is a lot more shallower. He just wants to become king just to prove that he's strongest, and that's really it when it comes to him. The next character is the most controversial character, is because a lot of us who've seen the original show and also read the manga, they completely changed this character up. And it was good that they did, but the name should have just stayed the same. And his name in this version is Jogo, but in the original version he was called Choco Love. Now Choco Love is our black character. He's from America. He's the funny guy. He's the true comedy relief character. He's the one that acts like a comedy relief, but he's the most wisest character out of all of them because something happened to him during the events of the anime. He comes back and then he becomes a more powerful character and a much powerful personality, and I really love his character. I always enjoyed him even back in the original anime. I really enjoyed him during the manga, and I enjoyed him here, especially in the manga and this version. He gets even more great development, and I love that his backstory is completely dark. They kept that the same, and he's just such a funny and interesting character. I like the new head, like I love his new design. His new design is spot on. It should have been like that in the first place, but I understand why the original mangaka did what he did. But the name should have stayed the same. Choco Love is fine. I had no problem with it as somebody who is black myself. I had no real issue with the name. I just wish that they just kept that the same, like his name. And the final character we're going to talk about very briefly is Lyserg. And the reason why I'm telling to talk very briefly, because Lyserg has so much to his character, it's unbelievable. His main goal to join the Shaman fight is to fight Hal, because Hal did something to him in the past. So he ends up joining Team Asakura in order to get revenge. But then something happened to him. He ends up doing something else, and that basically starts a teeter-totter effect with his character. At first, I didn't like him. I didn't really like him in the original either, but I liked him throughout the end of both runs, especially in this version. How we get to learn a lot about him. We get to really see him go through hell just to become a much better character, which I really do love and enjoy, and that's the reason why Lizer is such a good character. He's not my personal favorite out of the main cast, but he's an interesting character. And those are all the characters I'm going to talk about for now. There are many more, and I know I'm missing a couple of more that I know a lot of people who watch the show are like, why do you talk about this character? Why do you talk about that character? Well, I just didn't want to. The music is very good. I mean, great opening. Both openings are really good, especially the second one, which is ironic because in the original, the second opening in the Japanese version is the best version. The soundtrack is good. I also like that they brought in the original singer to do all the songs, especially on the opening, which I really love. The endings are okay, nothing great, nothing spectacular. The OSTs is perfect, spot on. They did a really great job. I even like that they brought the original opening song back for a scene. That was like really cool, especially somebody who watched the entire original series in sub. I was so happy to hear that song. I wish that we got the second one being Northern Light. That's my favorite overall Shaman King song. But it would have been so great to hear. But again, there are just so much good tracks in here. And finally, to end up the video, I'm gonna briefly talk about some things that I really dislike about this version. I'm gonna talk about the things I like about this version. First thing I like is that I love the fact that it's the manga. It's the manga. Like I said, it's one of my favorite mangas of all time. It's like I love Shaman King as a manga, but I dislike how they rushed it. There are so many story arcs that got cut down or just skipped over, like mini story arcs, because they want to get to the big stuff. They want to get this done because they only had a certain amount of time to finish it, which it sucks because it's like this is such an amazing story that it needed way more episodes. I feel like a good 80 to maybe 100 episode would have been a perfect runtime because it would have fit everything perfectly nice, beautifully, and it would have given you great development to everybody. But they had constraints, so they had to cut things out. That's why I feel like the original anime does some things better because they had filler, but the filler actually helped because we get to learn about the characters a lot more. But the biggest thing I hated about this version versus the original, it's the ending. Because it's the original ending of the manga, and the original ending of the manga was bad because of the fact that the original creator got rushed by Shueisha Shonen Jump, like usual. They wanted him gone, the original creator, because they wanted to put in new stuff in the magazine, and they got tired of waiting around for this arc to end, so the original creator rushed the final arc, especially the ending, and it just wasn't good. The original Shaman King anime had a far better ending. It made perfect sense, and I like the way that it ended better. But I'll go into more details in a separate video talking about both endings, so I'll also give in way more details in that video. But to wrap up this video, I do still enjoy this anime. Is it one of my personal favorite anime of all time? No. I will always recommend go back and watch the original one from 2001, especially the sub version. Go back and read the original manga, and if you want to watch this version, you can. It's on Netflix. It's only 50 something episodes long. Not that bad, but I do like it for what it is. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe. As always, don't forget to smash that like button. Don't forget to give me a follow on TikTok. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and check out the many other videos I have. I have a nice variety of videos. Go check it out. Eventually, I'm going to start putting regular movie reviews on here very soon. But I am enjoying doing the anime reviews as I've been doing lately. So, I will catch you guys later. This is your boy, Dragon the King, signing out. Peace.